right? But guys, let's move on to our previews of the weekend. And we're going to start with the Newcastle game. You were not here, Festus, when we're talking about this earlier. I'm super happy about Newcastle and the way they've grown, and I want them to win the FL Cup. So this is by the way. I'm just saying it so that you will hear that. Yeah, you know where my bias lies. That matter. But let's go to our. It's not bad, Bele, but I just like Newcastle. I like Newcastle. But guys, let's go to our previews of the weekend. And the first one, definitely Newcastle going up against West Ham United. Newcastle at home to West Ham United. West Ham are battling for their lives. They are looking for how to come back out of where they are right now. They are just 1 point above the relegation zone. They are sitting 16th in the table, and they're up against a Newcastle side who are third in the league, fighting to finish in the top four for the first time in so long. They are buzzing at the moment. They are in the finals of the EFL Cup, and that's something that a lot of people wouldn't have predicted come the start of the season. But let's look at Newcastle United and West Ham United. Can West Ham United hurt Newcastle?
Carly, maybe in their dreams. Other West Ham I see, I don't think so at all. For me, there's only one way this game can go, and that's clearly a Newcastle win. And it's even in line with the bookmakers, the usual bookmakers, because the win probability they've given is Newcastle 60%. They even given a higher percentage in terms of draw 24 and a West Ham win of 16%. That tells you where everybody is aligned to in terms of this match. And if you look at their head-to-head, Newcastle have a 2, draw 2, and West Ham 1. If you look at recent forms, where they are, even on the league table and where they currently are, clearly there's only one way for this game. I predict a Newcastle win. Most of their players are in form. Almiron has not scored for a while. We're hoping he bounce back. I think Callum Wilson is back. He's not injured. He's back in this game. Isak is back to full fitness. So I see goals galore. It's not even going to be it's not going to be a tight game, Kelly. I see Newcastle dominating this and scoring as much as 3 goals to maybe 1 or 3 goals, maybe a 3-0 victory for Newcastle, because Kwame is clearly high is going.
Interesting thoughts there. Newcastle to win by 3 clear goals. Eddie, Newcastle Festus is predicting a 3-0 victory for Newcastle United, but I'm looking at the team and I'm asking again, do you think West Ham can hurt Newcastle?
I think West Ham can hurt Newcastle. I don't think that where we are in the Premiership right now, there is any foregone conclusion for any team right now going into the weekend. Do they have the capability to do that? I think they do. But I think you just have to look at the strength of Newcastle right now. Newcastle are definitely on a high. They are now in the finals of the Carabao Cup. So there's a lot of optimism. Around everything is feeling good in Newcastle. The players are full of confidence. Everything just seems to be working. So if you're looking at those two teams, you just give an edge to Newcastle, because West Ham are just going through a very difficult period. It doesn't seem like anything is working for them. There were rumors about Mikel Antonio, potentially being involved in transfers and whether he was going to leave the club, or not. Their strikers haven't really been firing, so when you look at the problems that, West Ham have right now, you can only look at, Newcastle and say, actually, I think that the edge is with Newcastle, but I don't think it would be a performance that, would be one-sided. So I am going to go for a 2-1 victory to Newcastle.
I think I agree it's going to be closer than Festus is painting. Yes, Newcastle are playing very well. Right now they are doing everything right for them. West Ham on their part, look at their last game, and I think they can gain a lot of confidence from how they dismantled Everton, the way they played, against Everton. That was an end of a 7-match winless streak for them, by the way. But before that Everton game, West Ham have looked very, very hopeless. They looked out of sorts and all of that. Now, Danny Ings has been the leading attacking threat for West Ham in recent times. He's been brought into the side and looks. We all know that the Ings can score goals. It's one of the things he enjoys doing. But then Newcastle United, they're a different proposition entirely. When you have Joelinton running right in the middle and Isak, who plays center, right wing, left wing. It's just everywhere up front. Almiron, it's no joke that he scored his 9 goals. In recent weeks, he's slowed down a bit, but you think that team has the mentality, to win anything. But I don't think it's going to be a walkover. It's not going to be a run-of-the-mill game for Newcastle United. I think Newcastle United will win this one, but it's just going to be a narrow victory. Maybe 2-1, 3-1, but it's not going to be easy game for them. Another game, and this is key because Arsenal are table toppers. They're going to Everton, one of the places where they lost toward the tail end of last season, and their season started to crumble. Now, I'll tell you something very interesting about this fixture. When Arsenal went to Everton last season, Everton were on an 8-game winless streak, but they beat Arsenal 2-1 and then went on a 6-game winless streak. Right now, they are on an 8-game winless streak as well. And Arsenal is coming. Is this some sort of deja vu?
Oh my God. Kali, oh boy. I pray it doesn't, because it will be heartbreaking if it does. Because who knows? Football is a very funny thing. You're so sure of a particular result. Just like when they went to City and they put out a draw. Nobody expected that. They were so resilient, they were so dogged, and at the end of the day, they pulled that 1 point at Etihad. Nobody expected that to happen. So you cannot say with finality, and that is why when even the bookmakers, there is always a certain percentage given to that same team you feel that will be walked over. They give them a certain, which means there is a slight chance of upset or anything happening. But in this game, from what I see, my crystal balls, Kali, I don't see any other way around it. Arsenal is in such a form that I don't see it happening again. I don't see what happened last season, happening in this match. If you look at the bookmakers, they gave Arsenal 69%. They gave Everton 12%, and they gave a draw percentage of 19%. But interestingly, Kali, do you know the last 5 games we had with Everton, they've actually won 3 times, and Arsenal have won 2 times.
I know.
So I was shocked when I saw it, and I said, "What?" I had to look back at the games.
You are going to the last 5. The last 3 times Arsenal and Everton play, Everton won.
No, the last 3 Everton did not. The last one was
we won the last one last season. End of the season game, we beat them 5-something.
5-1. We beat them 5-1. The one they won was the 2-1. The one they won was the 2-1. Which was the
3? What about the 3 before that?
We lost.
No,
especially at Goodison Park. We haven't won at Goodison Park in 3 attempts, I think.
Yeah, so maybe that was what I was
talking
about.
They even beat us at home in 2021 1-0 at Emirates. But the last 2 matches, a club friendly, we won 2-0. If you look at recent, though friendly may not be.
Everybody's interested in that.
Yeah, but the last
performance in the Premier League.
The last Premiership we won 5-1. Really, after the 2-1, they won.
The last three before that one, we won 5-0. What were the scorelines?
They actually beat us.
Everton beat us home and
away. 1-0, 2-1. So they beaten us far more. In fact, if you look at the total number, so they've actually won more than us, which is a very funny stats when you look at where Everton has been over the years and where Arsenal has been. But when we're looking at this season in question, Arsenal has actually destroyed all stats against them this season. All stats you could imagine has been thrown away. And it's a testament to where they are on the league table for the fact that they've lost only one match and drawn two. So that gives you, this is also, remember, this is the highest we've been in the Premiership since its inception, 50 points in 19 games. So it tells you a lot that this is a different team, this is a different era, this is a different mentality about the club. I don't think they will allow these stats or what happened last season to happen. We've gone to places that we feel that are more difficult. The likes of Brentford, even Brighton, places where big teams have gone and lost and struggled. We've gone to dismantle them and demolish them. So I think that will happen also. It's not even going to be a close game. I'm not scared of that. I see us naturally overrunning them at Everton. And I see the scoreline not in a difference of 1 or 2. I see it in a difference of 3. I see this match only like a 4-1 victory for us now.
Eddie, new manager in place. He's had about 4 or 5 days to tinker with the team, to do whatever he needs to do. Sean Dyche is known for organization, defensive discipline. That's why a lot of people think he likes to park the bus, and he loves very aggressive, footballers. And that's why his time at Burnley, it was always it's always tough going to Toughmore. It makes life difficult for you with physicality and organization. Do you think the new manager bounce thing can come to play when Everton meet Arsenal?
Of course, the new manager bounce is not a myth, right? It is a thing because it does always happen, when a manager goes into a club, especially with a club that is struggling. It's a clean slate for a lot of the players, and Everton have got good players. We remember we were raving about them at the start of the season, just saying that they were unlucky. Their performances were not a reflection of the outcome of the games that they were involved in. They were getting unlucky with goals, with decisions and things like that. So they do have quality players. So I think we're going to see a different Everton team, against Arsenal. Sean Dyche's team, they test you in different dimensions. And I think if Arsenal, goes to that game just thinking, this is just going to be one of those games that will just turn up, just play our games, and then the results will just naturally fall into our laps. Some of the areas that Sean Dyche's team, always focus on in set pieces, creating, fouls in, dangerous parts of the pitch, to allow them to use, set pieces that he always practices on. And if you remember when we lost to Sean Dyche's team, I remember we lost the game 1-0, at the Emirates. And in that game, we had a player sent off. I think it was Xhaka that got sent off, and potentially El Neni could have been sent off as well. And we had a heading goal scored by, I can't remember the name of the Burnley player, but we lost that game 1-0. And I remember another game that we played, Burnley, and this was still in the era of Mesut Ozil. I think it was 2018. We won that game 3-1. But that game was, you look at the scoreline, I think it was 3-1. It was a completely dominant, game. But it was a game that was really, really difficult. So I think that Sean Dyche is going to make this game difficult for Arsenal. They're going to test us. What gives me courage and confidence is the sort of players that we have right now in Arsenal. We are not really vulnerable from corner kicks, and
the sort of players, and minus the coaching.
Yeah, I know you want me to. You want me to say. You want me to add the coaching. Okay, let me add the coach. The sort of players and the coach.
Because the players don't coach themselves.
No, they don't. They don't coach themselves. So I feel that, the weapons that, Everton might try to attack us with, I think we have resilience against those. But I'm still going to put this as a very tough away, result. Naturally, I'm more confident when we play at the Emirates. If this was at the Emirates, I might be like Festus, predicting a 4-0, 5-0 scoreline. But I think, I might see us winning this by 1-0. I think
Wow.
I think this game will be one of those that will be very tight. You're not going to give anything away. A lot of low blocks, men behind the ball. They will hope to hit us in set pieces and counter attack. I just think we just have that extra quality at the top end of the pitch, to get. And don't forget, in Burnley they had Nick Pope, who was an outstanding, goalkeeper. And he was, instrumental to a lot of those exploits. But Pickford can have his day, and he hasn't had many, but he's a very good shot stopper. So I expect that he will be peppered a lot by our players, and he will be having a hand in blocking a lot of those. So that's why I'm saying a 1-0 victory to Arsenal.
So the Arsenal.
Khalid,
so Arsenal have become, okay.
Khalid, before you make your thoughts, I just wanted to point out I think Iwobi will be the biggest loser in the ascension of Sean Dyche. We know the way he plays. Basically, I see him using more of Onana and Gaye in the middle, and uses Gray and is it McLean in the wings. So he likes using two DMs more. He hardly uses an attacking midfielder, and he likes playing one. Let me be Calvin Louis will be up front. I see it will be the biggest loser in this managerial change. I'll be happy if against all odds he keeps his place, but I'm so sad that likely, because he doesn't like playing attacking football, he's going to likely put Iwobi.
So you ask yourself again, what were the kind of players he had? Did he have any player in the form of Iwobi in his team? But that's another conversation. That's another conversation anyway. Yeah. But guys, I feel Everton enjoy playing against Arsenal no matter what. But then Arsenal are on the verge of making it the first club to have or record 100 wins against a particular club. Right now, they've played over 200 times. Arsenal have won 99 times. Right? If they win this one, they're going to be winning their 100th game against Everton, and it will be the first team in English league history to score to register 100 wins against one specific club, and that's Everton.
And how many overall has Everton won? Do you have the stat?
60.
Oh, okay.
60. They played 202 times, 202 league games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's league I'm talking about. In the league, they played 202 times, and Arsenal have won 99 times, drawn 43 times, and then lost 60 times. But in recent years, Everton have enjoyed playing against Arsenal. Everton have won 3 of their last 4 Premier League games against Arsenal, which they lost only 1. And that's as many as they have won in the 26 games before that one. 26 games before these last 4. They've only drawn 17 and they've lost 16 times. Their last 2 home games against Arsenal, like Eddie pointed out, Everton have won against Arsenal. So Goodison Park is not that place in recent years that Arsenal love to go to, but I think that can change. One of the things Eddie Festus pointed out, this season Arsenal have corrected a lot of the things that they were used to fall into. The negative stats and all of that. Arsenal have won. Arsenal were the first team that United will score first against and didn't go on to win or draw. Arsenal, it was the first time United was going ahead in a game and they didn't end up winning or drawing the game. Arsenal were the first. So these are the kind of statistics that, will make you happy as an Arsenal fan. Let me give out a few more stats, going into the game. The one that excites me a lot. Odegaard has scored more Premier League away goals than any other Arsenal player this season. he has scored 6. And in the last 3 games on the road, Odegaard has scored. And it's quietly reminding me of a player called Olivier Giroud, who went on a 4-game run, 4 games away from the Emirates, and he scored. And Odegaard can match that if he scores again tomorrow. And I'm going to put my money on Odegaard to score.
He scored in our last visit to the Everton. When our last visit to Everton, we lost 2-1. He scored the 1 goal for Arsenal.
So it looks like a good sign. If you're a punter and you're listening, go and put your money on Odegaard to score. To score. Now, another stat that excited me when I saw it. Sean Dyche has only lost more Premier League games against Manchester City than he has against Arsenal. So he enjoys losing against Arsenal. As tough as he makes his teams be, as crazy as Turf Moor can be, City is the only team that has gone to Turf Moor and played against Sean Dyche at any club and have won more. All of the stats were at Burnley, by the way, and Arsenal are the second team to have beaten Sean Dyche the most. So I love it. And Arsenal need to do something about conceding first. That's something that scares me all the time. Yes, we've been surviving it, but how long are we going to continue to do that? We need to find a way to always show it up at the back. But I look at the team. Everybody's buzzing at the moment. Martinelli is playing well. Saka is playing well. Maybe Martinelli is tired. Saka is playing well. Odegaard is looking very good in the middle. Partey and Xhaka, they have been the big boys and the general on the side. Look at all the guys.
Partey, is it bad?
Partey is fit to play. He's training. Partey has been training.
Okay.
He's fit to play.
I think the coach said he's not ruled out, but you see how he comes out from training.
And good news, Reiss Nelson is back in training as well.
Yeah, Reiss Nelson is back in training.
I didn't know I could be that happy to see him back in training.
I think that Partey will be on that. He'll be on the plane or bus or whatever it is they used to.
Yeah, they used
to get to Everton. I think we've got a player that can go in and do a job. So if it's touch and go between Partey, considering that we've got Man City in the horizon, we wouldn't want to lose.
It's Everton.
I think Jorginho should just even start. Let him have more 1 week of rest. I think we can beat Everton with Jorginho.
Calm down. Let's not be too cocky. Calm down.
I see. I'm talking of the other players around him. See, Kali, by the time you have Xhaka around him and the Ben Whites and other guys with the Jorginho, I think we can actually execute that match against Everton. What I'm saying is that because of what we have, you think we will just beat Everton. I'm not. No, see, even if it's grinding out that result, I think we can, because we have a double game week coming, and we really need Partey to be 100% fit. Anything that could, create a relapse or, create him that injury. Partey is always touch and go, especially, how he struggled last season. If you can get one more week,
why don't you want to believe that this season is different? It's not been touch and go this season.
If he can get one more week of rest and the medical guys still work on him, I will be very happy. He could stay on the bench, maybe give him like a 15 minutes running just to keep him fit.
If Partey is good to be on the bench, start him.
That's my opinion. I just don't want anything to start him.
I'll start my first 11. I'll start my first 11 in every game possible.
No, I'm not saying he shouldn't start Partey, but I'm saying that if he is not 100% fit,
Partey is fit.
You sure he's 100% fit? Fit is different from 100% fit.
He wasn't injured. He had a bruised ribs. He wasn't injured. He felt something in his ribs. They took him out. They did a scan, and it was like, it's fine.
And within 1 week, bruised ribs is totally okay.
It's been. Do you know what
players play with pain? They play with pain. But if he could just let him be for 1 more week,
there is nothing about letting him be. There's nothing about letting him be.
That is how I feel. That's how I feel.
Partey must play. If he gets injured, he gets injured. Partey must play. We must all this. See, I don't like Eddie said one time. Me, I don't want Eddie to come here and start saying, I told you guys. We must win every game. As in, just go. Because I feel so comfortable when Partey and Xhaka are in that team.
Everybody
I feel against United.
But you know, there are some
will lead
matches he must not play. He can't play all matches. You know.
If he's fit, you play all matches.
Okay.
If he's fit, you play all matches.
Even in Europa, everywhere.
No, Lemay will leave Europa. But Europa, once we get to the quarterfinals, it must play all the matches. Because me, I want us to win. I want us to win both Europa and the league.
Yeah,
Just win those two. Then I'll be very excited. Just win those two competitions. Hey, guy, if we win those two competitions, they are finished in Lagos. Hey, but guys, let's get back to business. Let's go to our final game of the weekend. Tottenham Hotspur up against Manchester City. I'm not going to say much. I have some interesting stats about this game that I'm going to share with you guys. But Eddie, let's start with you. Tottenham City in this one.
Tottenham and Man City, they have a very strange, weird relationship. You know, it's like this. You know, like when you have like a girlfriend, and you know, today you guys are on, tomorrow you guys are off. You know, you don't really know, you know, where things are in the relationship. You know, sometimes, you know, you think that you know, you guys are going very well, and the next thing you guys are fighting each other, and you're not talking to each other for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, there are times that it appears as if, you know, Tottenham always have the measure of Man City. You know, no matter, you know, where Man City is, you know, Man City could go ahead and win the league. But when they play Tottenham, they have one of those very strange results. And this doesn't even matter whether it's at the Etihad or at White Hart Lane. So considering that these teams have played already this season, and the way that game shaped up, with Tottenham heading in front and Man City coming roaring back. I mean, I think they scored 4 goals or 5 goals in the second half, you know, without reply. Yeah. I look at this game and I think to myself, this game is going to be a lot closer. Conte would have to have learned from the previous encounter between him and Man City. And, you know, with Son, you know, coming back into the fold, Kulusevski coming back, you know, into the fold, I think Tottenham has been strengthened a little bit. I know they've bought some players in this January transfer window, so it might be interesting to see whether those players are going to get a debut. The Dangote, not Dangote, what was Danjuma? Danjuma player. So it'd be interesting to see whether he makes it into the team. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this game. I would not be surprised if the Haaland phenomenon, you know, plays into this game. But, you know, everything, you know, is leaning towards, you know, a 2-2 draw for me.
2-2 draw. I think Manchester City will nick it.
Well, so Faze, how do you see this matchup? I mean, I think we've just talked about, you know, the Jekyll and Hyde, you know, profile that Tottenham has when they play Man City. What do you think? Will the last game have any bearing, you know, on this particular game? And what's your prediction?
Yes, the last game will. I think Conte, we all know he's a very good manager. He raised the game well. He has seen some of the mistakes, you know, that happened. They were really doing well. They were actually at the front foot in the last match, you know, and I think it lapse of concentration, or the, will I say the genius of Pep after reading the first half, or the overwhelming players at his disposal. Whatever, you know, you could see how the surge came and how they overpowered Tottenham at the second half. For me, I think it's going to be a different ball game. They've learned their lesson. They know that they have to be the concentration has to be 100% at each point of the game, and I don't think they will make same mistake. Like you said, they have a very strange relationship. If you look at the last 4 games in the Premiership, they've each won 2-2, and even one of the win was at Etihad, which gives you an idea how tough and how competitive Tottenham is always. Remember, there was a time they met in the semi-final of Champions League against all us. The Tottenham defeated City that year. I can't remember the years now. I think 3-4 years back or thereabout. Tottenham has always been there. They have always, even when they are scared of so many clubs, they are not scared of City. They always, even when City beats them, you always see that it's always a contest. And if you look at what the bookmakers is actually giving this to City, they are giving City about 55% probability win, and Tottenham 22, and a draw of 23. But with with their history of, how unpredictable their games are, always comes out, and where you cannot actually lay your hands on what happens on the day. And like we said, Kuliveski is back, Bentancur is back also playing well. Son, yes, has not been himself this season, but Kane will always give you goals. I see them matching what City brings. And remember, this game is at the White Hart Lane. I don't want to go. I think I see it ending draw, so I want to believe it will be a draw, but it's going to be a score draw. I see it ending 1-1 draw for both teams.